Good day, everyone. You are welcome to the Oluwatoyin Ibironke Durojaiye Social Talk Series. My name is Dr. Lara Babajide, and today I'm going to be speaking on sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? This is a form of implicit or explicit sexual advances, which are unwelcomed. It occurs when there's a request for sexual favors. Whenever there are signs for sexual advances, whether obvious signs or signs that are silent, it is an harassment. What are the signs? When anybody refers to jokes that refers to sexual advances, it is an harassment. Unwanted touching. It is not acceptable for anybody to touch the other person unsolicitedly. Like if there's no reason for you to touch anybody and you touch them without their consent, without their permission, it is an harassment. Especially if the touching has to do with some private part of the body. Stalking. If somebody just suddenly begins to stalk the other person, like wanting to be where the person is unsolicitedly, monitoring the person, when they go to the store, when they go to work, when they're coming back from work, it's a form of sexual harassment. Sexual advances. It could be maybe when you suddenly begin to give an unwelcome look, to show signs, uncomfortable signs that the other person is being desired. It could be in form of gifts. Gifts is a very common sign of harassment. You met somebody, you never had any kind of intimate discussion, and the next thing is sending gifts to the person without their permission. It's an harassment. Unwanted phone calls. Why would you continue to make phone calls to somebody you do not know? There's no go ahead to make a call to the person, and you suddenly begins to make the phone call. It's a kind of harassment. The messaging. This is very, very common also. Who can harass? When the boss begins to comment on dressing, on hairdo, it's a kind of harassment. It's a workplace and it should be professional. When those signs comes, especially when they are not solicited, they should be noted, and if possible, it should be reported. Your schoolmate, you are in school and someone begins to send you notes, begins to send you letters, begins to send you gifts. It's a form of harassment. A co-worker can harass sexually, sending messages, making unnecessary phone calls. Your friends. There have been instances when people have been friends for years but never discuss the intimacy of their friendship. It's always good to make a demarcation. Are we friends for being friends? Are we friends from a sincere act? Are we friends because we want sex in return for our friendship, for favors given or for favors received? If the friendship is defined, then whenever it goes out of the definition of friendship, or whenever it goes beyond the scope of definition, it's an harassment. Family members do harass. Some family members would bypass the ethics of being a family member and will take opportunity of a younger lady in the family, especially when they are in their custody. Unknown people. Strangers can harass. Neighbors, people that lives around you, people that sees you every day, see you dressed, they see you go out, they see you coming, either young or old, can sexually harass you. How do you process sexual abuse? You must acknowledge what happened. If you are sexually abused, please acknowledge it. Understand the trauma. It's traumatic. Please don't keep it to yourself. One day, a young lady walked up to me. She was my student actually, and she came to my office and said, she said she was raped. She rode a bike and the bike took her to the bush area, and she was like handed to other men and she was raped. She confided in me. I had to ask her, did you tell your mom? Did you report this? She was ashamed. But you have to connect with loved ones. If you ever find yourself as a victim of sexual harassment, tell your loved ones. I had to convince this young lady that the first person you should tell is your mom, and you have to report to the authorities and you have to go to the clinic immediately. You don't want to take any chances. If your harassment degenerates into rape, you have to take it up immediately. Let go of guilt and shame. You did not do it. You never planned it. There are women who have come up to tell their stories. And this is important. Please, if you are a victim of sexual harassment and you have opportunity to tell your story, be willing. You are going to help many other people. Connect with yourself. You are yourself. No matter what happens to you, it's not the end of your world. It has happened and it has happened, and you have to move on. Connect with yourself. Reassure yourself. It was not your fault. And even if it was your fault, you visited a friend and there was like a gang up or whatever happened, you'd never planned it. You need to connect with a therapist. You need to. You can't handle it by yourself. It can be traumatic. How do you heal from sexual harassment or sexual abuse? Healing will be gradual. It might take days, it might take weeks, it might take months. That is why you need a therapist. If you take days, good, you are out of it. If you take weeks, don't condemn yourself. You don't want to stop going to work because you were sexually abused or harassed. You don't want to stop going out because it happened to you. There have been women who have been raped right in their homes. It's not the end of the world. When there's life, of course, definitely there is hope. You need to move on. You need to step up. There are people who have been victims of sexual harassment, which has led to sexual abuse. And today, they are important people in the society. They have spoken. They have, from that, formed a foundation. They are helping others. You can help others. How do you report sexual abuse? Remember, it's no more than an harassment. It has degenerated into an abuse. You have to report to the police. You have to report it. At work, you may report it to your manager. At home, you have to report it to the police. You cannot keep it to yourself. If you keep a sexual harassment to yourself, it's going to degenerate to an abuse one day, planned or unplanned, by whoever is harassing you. Report to the police. You need to follow up legally. It amazes me at instances when a woman is sexually abused by a family member and other family members are trying to cover up. You cannot cover up such. If any woman is sexually abused, it has to be followed up legally. You want to save our society. You want to bring sanity. You want to give our young girls hope for tomorrow. They need their dignity. They need to be able to walk heads up on the streets, in their car, wherever they are. They don't have to be abused or harassed. If you have the opportunity, sue for assault. If you know the person who sexually abused you or harassed you, sue the person. There's no harm for suing the person. Sexual abuse or harassment is a very wide topic, and we can only give an awareness. As time goes on, we can always still come up to discuss it further. But in this presentation, we just want you to know that somebody is out there for you if you are ever a victim of sexual abuse or sexual harassment. Thanks for listening.